What's up, guys? This is Phil, aka Ghost on Two Wheels. I'm out here for Chase on Two Wheels, and we are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Royal Enfield at the U.S. launch of the Guerrilla 450. Now, if you remember last year, Patty Rick was out in Barcelona for the global launch of the Guerrilla 450, but now it's come to the States, and now I get to see what I think about this new engine from Royal Enfield. So we're going to put this thing through its paces today, see how it does, and then I'll just provide you one more opinion on this thing, but I'm really looking forward to it. And as someone who likes a 4-cylinder smooth engine, I'm really excited about a single cylinder. So let's go check this thing out. All right, we're at our first little content stop here with the Royal Enfield crew and content creators out here. And we got a couple people that are doing their runs down here, so some creative shots. So this bike, it's a 452cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder. It's their Sherpa motor, which debuted last year in the 450 Himalayan, and I got to ride that bike, and I was pretty impressed with the power that was put out by a 450 single. Royal Enfield in just the last 10 years has really come a long way, just improving their bikes and kind of modernizing it while staying true to the old school Royal Enfield look and feel of it, which is exactly what their goal is. They have an identity being a classic bike, and there's a certain style, and they want to feel that mid-range. And actually, worldwide, they are selling incredibly in that 250 to 750 range. So this thing comes in 3 colorways. I'm on the Brava Blue. There is the Playa Black, or Playa Black, I don't know, but Playa is cooler to say. And then they have a Smoke Silver. Those are nice too with the good contrast. So this thing has about 40 horsepower. If you're looking at facts and figures, 40 horsepower, 30 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, what does that really mean? It's really about the feel of the bike. Horsepower doesn't matter unless you're at a track. These aren't going to be track bikes. These are everyday use bikes. So really the torque matters a little bit more, and it's if that power is in a usable range. With these bikes, the way this engine was designed very intentionally was to get that power early enough to be usable. And so it seemed to have that as we were pulling out of the city, and so we'll see how that continues throughout the twisties, throughout the rest of the day. But I like where this design is, where it's usable power. It's not just spec sheet top power that you have to rev out. This power is there, it's usable, and it's meant to meet that need. Now, this bike was also designed to be very accessible, very approachable. As you can see, the seat height on this thing is not very tall, about 30 some inches, but it also has really good ground clearance as well. So they did a lot of work to squeeze the engine and the chassis into a more vertically smaller frame. And actually, the engine is kind of I guess in engineering, a stressed part of the frame. So you can actually see down here on like the front, there's no traditional frame that comes down here. It's just, it goes here and then here, and then the motor is actually part of that frame structure. So with that, they were able to save some space and fit everything in a smaller, compact platform to lower that seat height and make it more approachable. This thing also has LED lighting. It has the Tripper dash, which you can actually pair your phone to it. But I like the small footprint of the exhaust. These things do come with ABS. And here's the thing. You're getting a lot of bang for the buck for the price. MSRP on this in the United States, $5,299. That is right on par with some very budget-friendly small motorcycles, and it's under some other bikes that would be in this class in the 450, 500 range. So a pretty attractive price and a bike that actually looks really good. I mean, it does. They wanted it to be classic. They wanted it to be a casual and yet aggressive. And I think it's a good blend of all of that. So good job, Royal Enfield. But we are going to do our media runs here, and then I'll be back when we get back on the road, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. Yeah, we're cruising on the interstate going 70. I don't know that much above 70, although we're going 75. But this is not a bike to take on long distances on the highway, but it's certainly capable. And if you're in kind of a metro area or an urban area there that the speed limit is not 70 or 80, either actual or just culturally, this bike handles that just fine. So yeah, the highway test, it can do it. It can pass it. It's not A+, but it can handle it. For a 450, it's impressive that a 450 single can keep up and even take a little bit of a lead on the highway. But I think for sustained riding on the highway, you would want something a little bigger, or add some wind protection on here. I think that may bring a lot of comfort to it. But a very comfortable seating position. I am 6'2". I think if you were much taller than this, or even a little taller, you might start to feel a little cramped on this. I think we're going to be taking enough brakes on it to not really feel that, but this is not a bike you're going to be riding for 200 miles at a time anyway. Speaking of that, this has a 3-gallon gas tank. You can probably get close to 200 miles on a tank if you're riding conservatively. But again, with a 3-gallon tank, that's not touring. That's low weight and city, which is what it's geared for. You know, these bikes were designed, Royal Enfield designed to be easy to work on, to be simple. And for that reason, they were, air-cooled, carbureted, something that if it broke down somewhere in India, which is where they were, people had the tools and, the knowledge to be able to at least fix it up good enough to get back home. But I like where they've gone, where they're keeping the bike still simple. They're still staying true to who Royal Enfield is, but they're modernizing it in the right ways. So since 2019, all of their bikes are fuel injected. And this motor is actually the first one that's liquid cooled. And I think because of that, and just, the modern manufacturing of 2025, they are able to pull a lot of this power, a lot of this torque out of that 450 single. And I think they've done a great job. This bike, we're cruising here at 5,600 RPMs, between 5,000 and 6,000 RPMs, 60, 70 miles per hour on the highway, just fine. At $5,300 MSRP, there's not a lot of room to complain about anything with this. Alright, so stats, blah, 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 you know that. How does the bike feel? It's surprisingly comfortable for a 6'2" person like myself. We've got riders of all sizes here. We've got guys, we've got girls, they're tall, some are short, and everybody seems to just fit on this bike and it works. Even Morgan here in front of me is maybe a smidge taller than I am, and he's saying it's comfortable for him too. The only caveat I would put to that is that my legs do feel a little tucked up, and after a while, you do want to stand up and stretch your legs. But other than that, it is very comfortable. It's an easy reach to the handlebars, so it all feels good. Very, very good ergonomically that can meet a lot of different people where they're at size-wise. I think that goes to that big point that they wanted to make of this ease of use, approachable. Some bikes are just tall, some bikes are just really small, and it's hard to find bikes that kind of, I don't want to say one size fits all, because I'm sure there are people that are too small and too big for this, but it covers the middle so much more, which I think is great. So it has great appeal in that regard. So comfort-wise, it's good. Power-wise, for what it is as a 450 single, I think it delivers the power where it needs to. Earlier in the rev range, you're getting about 85% of the power, I think they said, at 3,000 RPMs. So you don't even have to wring this thing out. You've got a good amount of linear power through the rev range. Like even now, we're like kind of slowing down on these city streets. I'm in 5th gear, and it's happy just to lug along and pull out of that. So having power where you need it, for a bike like this especially, they did a great job. I think I've tested out the ABS once on this, unintentionally of course, but it kicked in and it did its thing. Great that ABS is the standard feature on this bike. The controls, very easy to reach. The blinker has a good feel to it. Not that you're going to be hitting a lot of controls while you're riding anyway, but it's exactly what you need for what this bike does. The suspension got up front Showa, and Showa's a good brand, and it does its job for this bike. Nothing fancy, but not bad. And that's all I got to say about that. I think it's really hard to just, for this bike that's pretty simple, you run out of things to talk about on the bike pretty quickly, because for this bike, it's not about the spec sheet. It's not about what's on it. It's about the experience you have and where this bike works. And they want this bike to be that casual bike. It has a little bit of an aggressive nature. You can ride it in the city. You can take it on these backroad twists and turns. You can take it on the interstate, but that's probably the worst point of this bike is interstate travel. But I mean, let's be honest, that's not what it was there for. Of course, it doesn't have heated grips. It doesn't have cruise control. It doesn't have 17 ride modes. It does have 2 ride modes, which again, at this level is incredible. It doesn't have a 6-axis IMU and traction control, but there's something to be said about the simplicity of this, and with Royal Enfield in general. I think that's what works for them. I think they know it. I think anybody that looks at Royal Enfield should know that. And I think if you're in this beginner market, if you like the simplicity of machines that are easy to work on, that are going to be durable, man, you've got to give this thing a look. We are back here at the Royal Enfield headquarters here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We had a full day riding out the new Guerrilla 450, and this thing is just a very versatile machine. They designed this thing from the ground up, having the rider in mind. They didn't put it all in computers. They actually had riders developing this thing, mocking it up, sitting on it, riding it, and then back to the drawing board. And they were able to create a bike that is, first of all, accessible, with a approachable seat height for new riders and comfortable for experienced riders. They have a high ground clearance where you could throw some knobbies on this and go scrambling a little bit too. It's really good to take around the city. You've got 2 ride modes. You've got an eco and a performance. You've got a tripper dash where you can get directions on this. And all of this is coming in at $5,299, which is an incredible price point for what you're getting. So all in all, I would just say this is a lot of bang for the buck.
It's great for new riders. It's great for experienced riders that want something small and simple. And it's great around the city highways. It's okay for a little bit, but definitely something to consider if you're in the market for one of these mid-range CC motorcycles. So a big thanks to Royal Enfield for having us out here for this event and covering it. It's been an awesome experience. Big thanks to Chase for allowing me to come up and cover this event for him. So if you haven't already, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and in the comments below, drop what's your favorite color of this? The Silver Smoke, the Playa Black, or the Bravo Blue that I was on? Let me know. Thanks.